Okay, now we're going to touch on contouring. Believe it or not, the Kardashians didn't invent contouring. It's been around for a very long time. There's loads of different ways that you can use contouring. You can contour with cream foundations, cream concealers, powders, bronzers. There's loads and loads of different ways. If you were going to go pretty full on, then I would definitely use either cream concealer or like different shade foundations. I prefer to work with creams because I like a nice dewy, soft look. If you use things that are too powdery or a little bit too thick, the face starts to look a little bit too cakey and it doesn't look very nice. I'm going to use a mixture of foundations and concealers today. Going back to my Bobbi palette, here are my foundations, obviously all the different shades. With highlighting, you want to take it a shade lighter than the skin, and with the shading, you want to take it a few shades darker. So I'm going to start with the highlighting. I'm going to use foundation because I feel like the concealer is a little bit too thick. I'm going to take really a mixture of a few light colours, just on my concealer brush, and gently run it under the eye. I'm going to get this in sort of a triangle shape here. Okay, so once you've done under the eye, the next place that you want to highlight will be down the nose. Like that. And then again, take your small brush and just the small of the forehead here. Don't take it too high because you don't want to make your forehead look too wide or too long. The point of highlighting and shading is to give you a nice little shaped face and highlight the places that you want to show and shade the places obviously that you want to hide or define. The chin. Okay, once you've highlighted, obviously the next step is to shade. So with a same or different brush, depending on what effect you want to make. I'm going to use a slightly bigger brush. I'm going to use this brush here, and I'm going to take the darker shades. Now, when you put it on the face, you're going to think, oh my god, that's way too dark. But once it's blended in, it's perfect, and it just gives you the right definition that you need. So again, draw a line from the centre here, upwards, following the cheekbone. So if you get your model to suck in her cheeks, you can see that's just on the line of her cheekbone. The same on the other side. Don't take the shading too far down. You want to take it just into the centre, nowhere near the mouth. And then again on the sides of the forehead. If you want to go really full on, you can go down the edges of the nose. across and down. A lot of people show their nose if they think their nose is too big or too wide. You can do so much with contouring. It is a really, really good skill to know. And then if you want the lips to look bigger, you shade under the bottom lip and in the little cupid's bow there. And then to finish on the jawline. Okay, so you can see it's a little bit tribal, it's a bit weird, but obviously you take in and you blend into it till it's flawless. Just look into the camera. You can see all the places that you want to shade is dark. All the places you want to highlight is done with a shade lighter. Okay, so now it's applied, we've now blend it in with a brush or a sponge. I'm going to use a little bit of both. This brush is quite good for blending. This is Real Techniques. This is really good for inside the cheekbones and around the forehead and the jawline. That's where you really, really want to buff it in. With the highlighting, I'll probably use the sponge because you want to just push it in gently to give it that flawless finish. Okay, I'm going to start with under the eyes. You could look up for me. Just gently push it into the skin. Remember, don't use too much for hard pressure on the sponge. You don't want to make it uncomfortable for your model. Down the nose and the chin. Now with my blending brush, I'm going to work in the contouring, the darker shading. Don't be afraid to be a little bit more forceful with this. With the contouring on the side of your face, just under your cheekbones, you can really manipulate this. If somebody would like you to lift their cheekbones, you can take the shading slightly higher than where their cheekbone actually is. You can play around with it. The more you experiment with contouring, the better you're going to get. At first, you're always going to feel like it looks a bit patchy and a bit weird, but you just need to keep blending in as much as you possibly can. With the forehead, make sure you blend it right into the hairline. This is really good. This is really handy if this person that you're. This is really handy to know if the model that you're working on is. Some people are a little bit self-conscious of their forehead. They feel like it's a little bit too big or they feel a bit too self-conscious. You can really work wonders with the shading. You can make their forehead look 2 sizes smaller. When you are shading underneath the jawline, make sure that you take it down onto the neck. You don't want it to look like you've got a dodgy fake tan line or you're using a base that's too dark for your skin. If you need to, you can take more product. Just ask them to lift their chin and just blend it down into their skin. Look into the mirror for me. Taking a smaller blending brush, I'm going to use this one. It's a Real Techniques. You can take this to blend in the lines along the nose. If you feel like any of the shading is a little bit too dark, you can always just go over it with your highlighter. It's good, yeah. Look up for me. So once you're happy, go over again with your beauty blender, your sponge, and just blend it all in together. Once you have blended it all in and you're happy with where the foundation or the concealer is, I'd then take a powder and I would set all the highlighter with a blotting powder. Really lightly, not too much. You don't want it to clog to the face, so really gently sweep it over, down the nose. Look up for me. Under the eyes. And then with a bronzer, this is the NARS bronzer, Laguna is the shade, and my favourite fan brush. You take it, ask them to suck in their cheeks, and gently shade in a little bit more with the bronzer, which then sets the makeup as well. Now this contouring is quite full on. This is probably best if you're using it for a photo shoot or like stage makeup. This isn't really what I would do for everyday makeup. It's quite thick. And there you go, there's a contoured face.